And welcome everybody to the Broken Wing Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championships for Season 13, Round 8 here at Le Mans. And we are in practice, and we're going to be starting a little bit early for qualifying. It's going to start in 9 minutes, 15 seconds to go. It's going to be a 20-minute qualifying session, as this is a bit of a longer track, you know, with the fastest lap on the board as it is right now, with a 3-minute 55-second .138 by Tyler Anderson. Trey Mistek just behind, 1/10 off, and not a lot of people. Only 6 or 7 people in the 355s, and then it goes 356s, 357s, 358s, 359s. 4 minutes, 4-minute 2, 4-minute 3, 4-4. It's going to be as far as these races go here at Le Mans, they're very exciting, but we're going to definitely see some disparity amongst the drivers and where they're going to end up here. With that said, going over to our leaderboard, Jacob Simmons leads. Overall in the pro standings over Tyler Anderson and Jeff Koffold, who's in third. Tyler in second, Jeff in third. And then we have a really big mix-up here. Miles Brown, who, let's see if Miles Brown is registered but not set a time on the board. He is leading the Pro-Am, Purple Pams, as they are, over Dylan Maroney in second, Rodrigo Thierry in third. Elliot Burton dropped down to fourth from first, just one race ago. But he's got himself he didn't do Long Beach, which is why he has that, so it's going to be a drop week for him. Going over to the AM class, our winner of the first half was Eric Koonsman. He's now in 7th. Really put him down. And his teammate, just above him, Jeff Lubitsch, in 6th. Richard Severa is the overall right now in the AM class in first, with Brandon G. Burns in second, Forrest Holland in third. That's the top 3 out of all 3 categories. And then going over to the team categories, Draft Punk Silver, Dylan Maroney and Rodrigo Thierry in the Pro-Am class, both in the Pro-Am class, are leading overall in first with a significant margin of points, overall gross points. To second is Vision Esports 2 by P1 Docs. It's Anthony B. Jenkins, who's a pro, and Miles Brown, who's a Pro-Am. And the Get Bean Nerd, Chris Lambert, is in the Pro-Am, and Jacob Simmons in the Pro class. They're in third. That just gets us out of the way with our top 3 in each category as pros, Pro-Ams, AMs, and now the team standings. After it goes Lucky Aces in 4th, Mixed Nationality in 5th, Draft Punk Gold in 6th, Cars Racing in 7th, Draft Punk Bronze in 8th, Shadowline Racing in 9th, Pax Oceani Heinz Silly Beans in 10th, Little Jelly Beans in 11th, Caffeine Global Motorsports in 12th, Ace of Race in 13th, RPM Racing in 14, Pax Oceani Practice in 15, Purdue Punch Racing in 16, Pax Oceani Purple People Eaters. That's a lot to say. PPP. In 17, Avalanche Racing in 18, and Vision Esports 1 by PDocs. The first team, they're in 19. Honorable mention in 20th place is the Narwhal Racing team, who have registered for this season but not put in a single point on the board at all. And Joshua Grasso, he's here. So I think Team Narwhal's back, but it's more like he's just flying solo because his teammate is in another country with no access to his sim rig, more than likely, as well. Or probably wouldn't want one anyway. And With that said, we got 4 minutes 32 seconds left to go. Stephen Poe, 6, slapped on the AM class decals, but in no means or way is the guy who's sitting in 7th in practice is going to be flying those colors, those accents, for much longer. Than I believe this would be one of those scenarios where he instantly is going to be slapped into the pro category. Some people said the pro-ams, but I mean, it depends. Let's see. Christopher Daniel, pro. Jacob Simmons is pro. Peter Flanner, pro. John Javecki, a pro. Trey Mistak, Tyler Anderson, pros. Joshua Grosso is a pro-am in 8th. Elliot Burton is a pro-am in 9th. Trevor Bonesteel in 10. He's a pro. Richard Severa is in 11th, and he is an AM class. He's going to get promoted, more than likely, as this season comes to an end. Daniel Barrett in 14th with a 357, and he's in the AM class. Dylan Maroney, pro-am in 15th. Dean Diltz is a pro. He's in 16th. So I'm sure they'll figure out a way, based on his I rating and everything, putting him somewhere else, because he is not AM times material. Although he did practice heavily for this race, and some people don't. Some people practice right when they get in. Alex Zahir is here. And we have 45 drivers that are participating in this this race on round 8. The points differential right now, as it stands, for Tyler Anderson's out there. Jacob Simmons is out there. Jacob Simmons is leading right now with 814 points to Tyler Anderson, who has 637. With a good result on his hand, Tyler Anderson could find himself on the top step in the second half of this championship if he can pull in a decent result here. Had kind of a... Oof, that's someone off into the barrier. Could hear that from a mile away. Well, Jacob Simmons is leading. He also won a race, and he's just gonna perform again. I think he finished second or third on the last race, something like that. He has the same points equalized from Tyler Anderson's first race, 394 points. That's what Jacob Simmons got at Long Beach on the second round. Any new drivers? Jason Daly. When they add the E, does that make a difference? The English language is complicated. Like, would it be delay? That would be interesting if it was. I don't think it is. I think it's daily, but you never know. It's a complicated language. But welcome to the league, Jason Daly. He's new. And I think that's it. Between this driver and Stevens, it's got an S on the end of that. I'm gonna go with Steven. Stevens? Alright, well, welcome to the league. You guys, your names, it's a lot. Like, there's Sandra Churlis. Noah Porter is here. That's a new driver's name that I haven't heard before, I don't think. Welcome to the league. Yeah, just a couple drivers that haven't done anything. We have 5 seconds left before this turns over. Christopher Daniel and P16 of Pax Oceani practice team. They only showed up for a couple of races overall. And if I believe I'm right here, they showed up for both. Well, Christopher Daniel did on the second half. He showed up for Road America, Monza, and Long Beach. His teammate showed up for Sebring, Road America, and Monza. All right. We are go for qualifying, and briefly, our sponsor here for the league. And welcome back. We are 19 minutes into qualifying. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship for Season 13, Round 8, second half of the this championship. It's a split championship between the first and second, rounds 1 through 6, and then 1 through 5, sorry, rounds 1 through 5, and then 6 through 10. I believe that's right. Yeah, it's 5 and 5 rounds each. And we have John Javecki here, who's going to be leading us out here on qualifying. It's a long way to go. This is a very, very long track. We're here at Le Mans, France. And there's too many corners here, is what I'm going to say, to remember all the different ones. And I know Dunlop, but that's because the word's right up above. The S's, but that's pretty easy. A lot of corners are named Virage something. Oh, looks like John Javecki is giving the all clear for Peter to go through. Maybe. He's flashing his lights for some reason. And it is a long outlap. 3 minutes, 55 seconds. 0.1 is what we've gotten out of some of the drivers. That was 6 or 7 total that got through that. Now we're going to see who can muster up just a clean lap. You don't want to put yourself in the danger zone by not at least attempting to get a valid lap. I call it a banker lap. That's what you should do. Just put something in that's feasible. With less fuel, that second run probably going to be a lot more stable going through some of these corners and going for your oil maximum, but let's see what everyone does here. Keep a close eye on John Javecki's off tracks here, as we already have a couple, but it is the outlap, so it doesn't really matter for their outlap. You hope they keep that energy, though, of not getting these things. Alright. I'll go aboard. Just a little perspective. We only have one driver who has already invalidated their lap so far, and we're still through one of the least complicated sections of the race circuit. It's an opinion of something. I mean, you got a couple of spots to worry about in Sector 2. And we'll go back on board. There's been a second driver who's gone off track, and that's Trevor Bonesteel. And now a third driver, Cooper McCoy, all on their valid laps. So now there are 3 drivers have been validated on lap 1, and they're only going to be able to set a couple more of these laps comfortably. So you're going to have to get 1 valid on the board. Not ideal to be starting this race at the back of the pack. This JR Hoops becomes our 4th victim to the invalid laps. The off track as it is. Menachikor Stecki, Stephen Poe. And John Javecki with a valid lap, as well as Peter Flanner, and these two are going to come through with a 1-2. Who's going to be fastest overall? And it looks like it's going to go to Peter Flanner for the moment. Then we'll see who else is there. Forrest Holland was across the line. He's in 3rd, and just ahead of him is Tyler Anderson, not on a valid lap. It doesn't look like, because it didn't show anything. There's Jacob Simmons in 3rd, Dylan Maroney in 4th, Jeff Koffel in 5th. Elliot Burton in 6th. Marshall Scar goes down to 7th. Forrest Holland down to 9th. Dean Dilts comes across the line in the 7th. Eric Kunzman in 10th with a valid lap. We still got people on the board. Scott Weber to 6th. It's an AM class driver putting it with a 357. And we're going to see 357s from a lot of drivers. Alex Zahir with the 357. And it looks like he's already in the pits. He's not going to run this again. 357 is good enough for the middle pact of this grouping, but Richard Sever with the 356 on the board. He was quick in practice, and now we get to see it in qualifying. The 355s, as Christopher Daniel crosses the line to take us with a 355.5, that is where the top 10 are going to be. Again, there was only 7 that did 355s in practice. But if you're getting low 356s, you're going to be at least in the top 15 for sure, if not the top 10, as our highest 356 is 6 right now, with an even 357 on the board of Jeff Koffold. That's going to be the vast split there. We're going to see a bunch of people coming in at that. Trevor Bonesteel invalidated his lap. This is a full go for him on that one. Cooper McCoy out there on one. Andrew Korstecki, another one, is the invalid lap. I'm going to go and find somebody who's getting close to the line here. It looks like everyone's. Trey Mistak is in the pits. Craig's in some spot. Actually, we don't really have anybody. Let's go look at this. Jason Daly. Just ahead of him is Jeff Lubitsch. I think that's a new livery there. Oh. Crossing the line here is Brian Zaborski Jr. What's this going to put him in? This is a valid, hopefully a valid lap for him. And he goes into 14th with the 358. And David Gauntlet Oh, man. I think it's been a minute since I've seen this, since David's joined the race. He's been around. And valid lap? I don't think so, no. Now we have everybody up to P21 out there. Steve McAllister with a 4:02, Tyler Kern with a 4-minute even, Adam Tingle with a 4-minute even. I mean, well, 4-minute 0.5, 0.6, you know. Noah Porter with a 4-minute 0.3. Eric Koonsman with the 3:59. Forrest Holland, the 3:58. Daniel Bear with the 3:58. Brian Zaborski in 14th with 3:58. Marshall Scary with the 3:58. Chris Moulton with the 3:57. Dean Diltz and Alex Zahir are just going to stay in their spots. They are not out there at the moment. Looks like Trey Missak is going out here. It's a little surprising. Jeff Lubitsch has not set a valid lap just yet, as Peter Flanner goes across the line with a 3:55.4, putting him in P1. Where's our Jacob Simmons? Across the line. Does he go quickest with that lap? I've been in invalid lap. It's quite possible it was invalid. I don't see his name here, but it doesn't show his last. Maybe he just went into the pits, went for one shot, went for an out lap, and then this is his in lap. Could be that. I wasn't paying attention. Still got over half the grid with no valid lap set. Andrew Korostecki, that would have been his second lap, or no, that go around would have been his third attempt. Lap 2 was invalid. This would be his third attempt at this. Invalid or otherwise. There's a lot of people that have not set any times on the boards. And Sandro Churlis. Not valid. I think that's the gonna be quite the issue. I'm seeing a lot of drivers right now that are out there on track without a valid lap set. And Brandon Burns, that was an out lap for him. He's going to start anew. This will be his only attempt. It's 23 drivers that have set times on the board. Brian Zaborski Jr. crosses the line to go a little quicker here with 3:57. And my, I think just getting something on the board, if anything, is still going to be better. If we have over half the grid not set times on the board, it's going to be deeply troubling. Tyler Anderson, a driver who was fastest overall in practice, has not set a valid lap yet. This could be detrimental to his chances. Maybe that wasn't too much. I don't think it was an off track. It looked close. But he needs to get a good spot here if he wants to continue this battle with Jacob Simmons, who's sitting in 4th at the moment. Joshua Grosso just coming out of that first section on the straight. Elliott Burton in 5th. Nobody coming up behind him. He's going to cross the line. Is this a spot gained? He goes to 4th. John Javecki stays 3rd. Jeff in 8th. No improvement there. No improvements. Cooper McCoy across the line. Is this a valid lap for him? Holy, it is not. He has not set a time on the board. Tyler Anderson and JR Hoops, another couple of drivers that are going to be coming up here and not set a time on the board, as well as JR Hoops goes in. And I believe that's Austin McGill. Yep, it is just ahead. Both drivers have not set a time on the board. This is the only chance they get. Actually, will they get one more chance? They're going for it. Looks like that's a valid lap for Tyler Anderson. He goes into 2nd. Austin McGill. No time recorded. Truly unfortunate. It's Daniel Barrett goes into P8. This is what I was saying. Getting a valid lap out there would have been just fine. Joshua Grosso in the S's now. Adam Tingle ahead of him in 25th with the 4-minute on the board. Still pretty good. Sandra Churlis crosses the line to get into the points, or into the, I guess, into the qualifying section here, as we still have more or less half the grid not set a time on the board. That's bodes badly, as Joshua Grosso looks to be slowing up slightly there. Not sure what that was about. Maybe it was just my perception of what was happening, but could be the first chance that Narwhal Racing has some points on the board in this race. And no time was set on the board for that one. Brandon Burns goes into 20th. Joshua Grosso has at the set a valid lap here. This is his only attempt. Jason Daly in the pits. Stephen Poe was, I think, 6th or 7th in practice. No time on the board. Trevor Bonesteel in the pits, so he is not going to be able to do anything. He's going to have the last from first challenge. Trevor has won a race. Pretty sure he's run away. Well, he won a race in the in the Le Mans series. That's what it was. Not in the GT3 Sprint Series. It's like, interesting. Elliott Burton with an off track on his 4th lap. Trevor Bonesteel with an off track on his 3rd lap. It is not looking good. Miles Brown in the pits. Austin McGill in the pits. Michael Sharon just behind Dave Palmer, 1/10. And it almost looks like they were going to go side by side for a second, but he's just following Dave Palmer through and through. Michael Sharon doesn't have a time on the board. Peter Flanders sets the fastest lap again. And just behind is Rodrigo Theory. Rodrigo himself not set a time on the board. We are past time for these drivers to be able to set times on the board here. That said, we go to one of them. And Korsecki goes into the pits. Cooper McCoy. What can he do here? And that is P15 for him. Marshall Scarry goes into P19. Tyler Anderson, he got into 3rd. 3 positions ahead of his rival, who is in 1st in the pro standings. It's Jacob Simmons. Can he improve on this lap? He really put it all down to the wire, getting a valid lap on his 2nd to last lap. this last lap doesn't change much for him. And then we have just a little bit of a gaggle of cars here. We have... Ooh, Rodrigo Theory stops his attempt. And if I believe so, that is it. No... Nothing made there. The heck? As Dave Palmer into the... Yeah, it's not looking good for the remaining drivers out there on track trying to make something happen. This is a lap that is definitely going to need to count. And he crosses the line. It is valid. It puts him in his 7th. Brandon Burns across the line. He's in 23rd at the moment. Is it more? Yes, it is. It gets him into 22nd. And that is it, folks. That's qualifying. And I'm going to have to wait for this to exchange over because I don't know where anyone's at. We got up to P33 with 46 drivers entered into this race. That's a shuffle of drivers probably going based on when they entered the race, registered for the race, I believe. And then we'll get to see what's what. That is... It can't be completely set in stone right now. It's not going to probably show me if I start scrolling through this. Yeah, it's all invalid up to after Dave Palmer in 33rd. So it's going to be a big mix-up there once we get things transitioned. Yeah, Travis, it would have been nice to see you. Nice to see a lot of people. A lot of people have signed up for this series, but not a lot of participants. I mean, we still get a good number of people in the 40s, but we've been maxing out a couple times throughout the season 13. In season 12, we maxed out so for a couple races in a row, where our regular drivers that would always be at these races were upset that they couldn't race, and there was talks of having a second class, a second wave hit, and have 2 different races based on your classification. Have the pros race with the pro-ams, and then have like the AMs be their own thing, because there's a lot more AMs that show up in general. But hey, it didn't come to that because we lost a lot of participants, as you do. Just waiting for this thing to shift over. The minute and 22, I'm sure it's just somebody parked in their car. I don't know. It says that Sandro we're just waiting on that driver. One more day on the oil platform. It's got to be so scary. Bam. The only call out you're going to get from me is the Dunlop corner. Technically. Yeah, because Dunlop's right above. But it's actually not the Dunlop corner. It's like something else. It's like something Dunlop. I don't speak French, so I'm not going to try to say these words. Just remember, there's a lot of virages. Virage this, virage that. Virage, Gorbet. I don't know. Bus stop 1, bus stop 2. God. And I'm off work for 3 weeks, starting a new job on the Alaska North Slope. That's got to be awesome. I'm north. Far north? Is that just something people say? There's only like one city in the north of Alaska. Saw some YouTube video on that. Oh, finally, we're gonna get the We have P1 through 33, so I'll read these off as quickly as I can. You can see P1 through 15 there on the left. We'll go straight over to P16, which is Cooper McCoy, Dean Dilson 17, Alex Zahir at 18, Craig Carroll 19, Marshall Scary in 20, Forrest Holland 21, Brandon Burns 22, Stephen Poe in 23, Blake Patterson 24, Tyler Kern in 25, Eric Kunzman 26, Andrew Korstacki 27, Noah Porter in 28, Adam Tingle 29, Steve McAllister 30, Tom Smith 31, Sandra Churlis in 32, Dave Palmer 33, Trey Mistak in 34, Trevor Bonesteel 35, Austin McGill 36, Miles Brown 37, Michael Authen 38, Rodrigo Theory 39, Anthony V. Jenkins in 40, J.R. Hoops in 41, Charles Whedon 42, Jason Daly 43, Michael Sharon in 44, David Gauntlet in 45, and Jeff Lubitsch in 46. Now, that's a lot of drivers that did not set times on the board. We already know Trey Mistak isn't going to set a time on the board. It's kind of his whole thing. He's trying to get that last first challenge complete. Let's go with a blimp. And there will be no safety car for this race because it is a very long track. Is Dan racing tonight? That's weird. Everybody blinking. Daniel Barrett. Dan Vincent. Oh my god. I hate you. I hate you, Justin. Hope you're enjoying your natty lights. It's also going to be a single file start to this race. We've done it before. This race has been fairly clean. The last time we raced here it was wet conditions, and one driver who's shall not be named was starting on dries and killed their opponent. Luckily, Elliot Burton is sitting behind the driver that could potentially kill him. So I think he's going to be fine on this one. I'm not cursing him. I'm not cursing him at all. But there's something odd. I don't know. This is very blinking. Not a good sign to start this race. A bit of an omen, and I'm getting a little bit of a connection spike. Everything looks good on my end, though. I don't know, Garrett. I don't know. Just gonna follow through, make sure all this single line action is single. Looks like it was. Trey Mistak already up one position over Dave Palmer on the first section here into the Dunlop. But look at that, Trevor Bonesteel making up a spot as well, just ahead. And we're going to see a couple of these drivers making those moves, as Austin McGill also made that move on Dave Palmer. Further back, we have Rodrigo Theory making 2 spots up right there, or it's just one, so it says, but we have a driver that's going slow. I think that's Michael Authen. And so go through some of the other drivers. I'm sure will. Up further ahead, Stephen Coe up 2 positions with Forrest Holland dropping back, and that's 3 loss for him, as we have Blake Patterson just behind in that Acura, and Brandon G. Burns. So no, Blake Patterson's a McLaren. Turn me up. Yeah. Vroom, vroom, vroom. People want to hear the big stuff. Is that good enough? It's only going to be at some parts, so I might seem louder now that you... All right. Might be too much. Christopher Daniel. No change so far out of everyone from P1 through 18. That is a significant result there. Peter Flander holding fairly firm in his position in P1, but Christopher Daniel now looks to be under threat here to Tyler Anderson. And John Javecki also back there. They're all close, but nothing has happened just yet from P1 through 18. Marshall Scary in 19 with position gained. There's something is going to happen. Let's just say I have a knack for knowing who to click on when things are going to happen. Further back, we have Tyler Kern in P25. He's got no positions gained. He's got Eric Koonsman right there just behind, 2/10 back. And they look kind of close, but no, it's not there yet. Austin McGill goes through on Steve McAllister, so does Trevor Bonesteel. Steve McAllister now has Sandro Churros behind him, and Rodrigo Theory creeping up. Up further ahead, that was Trey Mistak, who's got a little bit of a buffer here to some of these drivers. And even further ahead, Adam Tingle and Noah Porter battling out here. We have a Pro-Am versus an AM class driver just ahead in the, well, accented correctly, the AM class colors there. It was going to be quite the shuffle. Ooh. And John Javecki is out. Ooh. And it looks like he kind of lost that all on his own, falling through the S's here. He gets a little bit of the tire onto the grass, and that's pretty much said, done, and dusted. Our first recipient of the Brooklyn Wing Racing League winglessness is right there. Unfortunate for John Javecki. He was having a good run before that incident. You hate to see it. Truly. It's a little F in chat if you want. It's disappointing. Miles Brown in P38. He's a quick driver. He's a fast driver. He's got just passes Michael Othman there in the first Dunlop as we go up into the second Dunlop. They have different corner names, but it doesn't really matter. It's a French track. No one cares about their names. Miles Brown. Not a position gained, but a position fought to defend it against. Noah Porter lost out a couple spots there. That's 2. Trey Mistak and Austin McGill are now battling it out here, and they're going to take this with Andrew Cordes, Decky, and Adam Tingle. Adam Tingle on the far left there. And it looks like Andrew's going to stay on that defensive line. Austin McGill kind of pushing. And they both go through before the braking zone. So Austin McGill is following Trey Mistak like a magnet to get through all these drivers. That could be considered not like traffic, but it is kind of going quick and easy for them. As they follow up, passing Tyler Kern together. What a dynamic duo these two are becoming as they have gained now 9 and 10 positions. And Trevor Bonesteel looks like he almost has the move down as well. It's another pro class driver who's been stuck at the back. When you don't even have a valid lap, this is what we get out of the racing. They're just going to start steaming past with their own race pace, and it looks like he might make the move down here and get by Adam Tingle. And he's going to probably stay fairly defensive. Doesn't need to, I guess. He's going to be able to get it during the braking zone. And now, further up, we have our drivers that have actually now gained positions because John Javecki, a little bit of an incident. But out of all these drivers that have, quote, gained positions, it was only through an incident. One driver going off on their own. Well, it looks impressive. These 1+s are just because of when we take those scenario. While I say that, Tyler Anderson, let's pull it back on the replay here. They follow through in the S's. And yeah, he just gets the power down. He's really already kind of passed him by to take P2. Christopher Daniel. That's gonna be the first. That's gonna be the first lap or first pass we see in the, I guess, the top 10 from what I can tell. That was done on the track in a battle. Going further back, Richard Severa has held his position since the start of this race. I mean, it's only lap 3. But this AM class driver is looking to get another AM class win right now. He is in good contention here. And now Stevens Poe here, battling out with Marshall Scar, and gets by pretty cleanly to the first Dunlop. In the second, he's got Craig Carroll. He's on a charge. It's 5 positions gained. He's into the P18 at the moment. Scott Weber's in the pits. Not sure what happened there. Might pull back to that in a second. Dean Diltz. He's got Chris Moulton just ahead of him. Alex Ahir all battling it out here for position. Alex Ahir's the green Ford Mustang. Let's see. And no change just yet, but this has never been this close, but P1 through 3 are sticking to each other like glue. You could even say Elliot Burton's right there alongside. He's only 2/10, as well as Joshua Grasso. It was a little bit more dicey on the straights. They weren't as close, but in that braking zone, they really came back together like an accordion. This is very, very dicey. They're going to be racing each other this hard for the rest of the race. It's going to be... I think an incident might occur. This is quite close. And you could even see the front end of Tyler Anderson has some damage. Very racy from 1 to 5, and then back further back, 8 through 13. Jacob Simmons is just off the trail of these drivers, about a second back. Yeah, I am not making that up. That is some damage to the front left of Tyler Anderson's car. Some better angles as we go through. And then just hitting a quick replay here. Stevens Poe goes through on Craig Carroll, makes the move, and gets by. And Dean Diltz on Marshall Scary. No, Chris Moulton, I believe. Chris Moulton. Oh, the move was not done though. Sounds like somebody went into a barrier. Still, everyone's close in the top. Further back, we have Michael Sharon on Tom Smith. Michael's up 6 positions. Tom's down 5. Not imagine that someone. Our favorite dynamic duo is back. Trey Mistack making a move on Forrest Holland. That's 11 and 12 game. 12 now for Trey Mistack. Now matched, but not wanting to be outdone here. Austin McGill going up into 23rd. And somebody went off into the sand there in the first Dunlop. Trolliest of troll comments coming out of Justin there. And it does look like Christopher Daniel was able to get by him at some point when I was not looking. Now, Dean Diltz battling it out here with Stephen Poe. And Chris Moulton, I think maybe had some type of error, but he dropped back a couple. With that said, just gonna quickly, briefly look and see what happened to Noah Porter here. Ooh. Spun that one on his own. Alex here also had a little bit of a moment. And now this was the driver that went through the sand there. Dusting that up. As well as Scott Weber. No, it's not Scott. Ooh, what happened there? JR Hoops and Steve McAllister going. Oh! 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 That's Porsche on Porsche violence. Yikes. And not sure what happened there, but okay. I'm not sure. 93. Ooh! And out of the barrier, look at that. Was able to keep it. I mean, good on Rodrigo. Coming back at it. John Javecki. We saw this one. That's unfortunate. We'll pull it back to the start here. Scott Weber. Oh no. Yeah, he crashed. Schitterling also had a moment here. This is on the current lap that we're on. And he... Whoopsie daisy. That's Cooper McCoy coming in contact with him. And that so far has summed up all the action on track. Wondering what happened with some of these drivers. There you go. Which 97, is that by chance? It is Steve McAllister. Michael Offen just behind here in the Corvette. Scott. 3 notable drivers in front of him. Tom Smith, Dave Palmer, Michael Sharon. All three used to battling each other, all three Porsches. He has not gained or lost positions just yet, but he has been pretty close to the drivers ahead of him. I'm going to switch over to JR Hoops, who's got Sandro Churlis in his sights. And Chris Schierling is in the pits, so maybe this is his one and only pit stop. It's lap 5. I don't know if that's too early. I would assume it's too early. Maybe it's not. Trey Missack, Austin McGill in P20 and 21. They started this race. In the 40, so that's mighty impressive. Oh, we knew they were going to be impressive. And it looks like they're just taking this together. Look, I mean, it's kind of, Austin McGill is a quick driver. And he was just following in suit as they pass all these drivers ahead of him with a slight relative ease. As they get a really good boost here down the straights and just able to use that momentum before the braking zone. And they both get it done. And just ahead, Marshall Scarry had that on Craig Carroll. He's got Allison here to deal with. Now they have these two. That was a move on Blake Patterson. Both those drivers got by. And I don't think Austin's planning on trying to pass Trey Missack in this moment. I think he's found his little his secret weapon. Just follow behind Trey Missack. And there's Marshall Scarry on Alex here through the apex. It looks like it's not going to work out for them. But you know who it's going to work out for? We're going to go over to our P1 and 2 just momentarily, see if that was not going to get passed. This actually could be disastrous here for Austin McGill. He's now in this pack, but Trey Missack's already making the move. They are able to get past one of those drivers. Ooh. And that was Craig Carroll that got past, and now Austin McGill trying to make the move here on Marshall Scarry. Is he going to be able to get it done? Maybe. It is still a maybe. He is not going to be going side by side with this driver just yet. Nah, I think he's got him fully alongside now, and the dynamic duo might go away unless he can hold. He's got it down. He's ahead of Marshall Scarry. Oh! Yikes! And all those positions gained. Just gotta enter the S's a little safely there. Who would have thunk it? And the dynamic duo is done. Dusted. Over. Trey Missack up 17 positions. Now Alex here in 7/10 up. As Sandra Churlis just gets past right there for the double chicane. JR Hoops just ahead. Not too bad there for Austin McGill. He's retaken a position on Tyler Kern in the second Dunlop. But the difference is he's in P26 And that 7/10 gap actually crumbled fairly quickly as Straight Mistek has passed Alex Zahir. Blake Patterson now is up in contention here with Craig Carroll. If Craig loses his position, it will be a position lost from where he started this race, and it looks like that move is done. Or is it? Looks like Craig Carroll is not letting up. The AM Class Championship winner from last season going side by side. He's got the inside line here. And boom, he goes through. A little wide there. Might be an off track. No, it wasn't an off track. Hey, look at that. He's going to battle out with Blake Patterson once more. And it looks like Brandon Burns is using the same method that the dynamic duo pulled off. But he's going to go far out to the outside there. Blake Patterson's through again. And through goes Brandon Burns as well. And quite possibly Trevor Bonesteel. As he is alongside Craig Carroll. In that amazing defense that Craig Carroll imposed on the straights against him as all three of these drivers got by. And they're going to go 3 wide. Now 2 wide. And Trevor Bonesteel making up 2 positions there. And Shadowline Racing, they are going to be both teammates. Maybe who's going to let the one ahead of the other? I don't know. Let's guess. On board with Marshall Scari, it looks like he was getting really close, just making a little bit of ground through the S's here. Only 1/10, and losing it a little bit. And they're both going to go into the pit lane, lap 7. A lot of drivers are going in. Oh, looks like everyone's going in. And it is. We got a whole group of people. Tyler Anderson stayed out. Peter Flanner is in. All of our drivers are essentially in as they pick their spots. And it looks like the whole field has decided to come in. This is interesting. Adam Tingle's coming in. All of these drivers are coming in at this moment. We still have some drivers out there. But the shakeup can happen at any second. Peter Flanner does go out ahead. His counterpart, Christopher Daniel. And Elliot Burton also out there. I think... And if you saw that, there's my co-commentator on the side of this cursed livery. In a wheelchair. I thought it was a toilet, but... This is where the gaps truly are different. Just briefly, we have Peter Flanner did a 50.3. Christopher Daniel did 49.7. You can see the pit stop times right there. And it looks like we're going to see that accordion effect with, I guess, their pace. Only a few of them are really close together after that pit stop. And we'll see which is which. Trey Mistek did go out. He's in 15th at the moment. He's got Chris Moulton ahead of him. Dean Diltz behind. And it really just goes to show you just the alien-like powers that are Trey Mistek. He's up 20 positions, just past Chris Moulton there. the reason why I bring that up is Chris Moulton started P15. Dean Diltz started P17. Both these drivers are great and fast, but this pace of this driver that we're talking about is up 20 positions and had to fight through a lot of traffic. I'm not sure. I don't even know what you guys are saying in chat. That bad boy won its first race out on the field. I think I just got a stroke listening to that. Jacob Simmons, who was at the back of this pack, P1 through 5, all together. He was a little off the timing on these drivers ahead of him. He was 7/10, almost a second back. Now he's in the mix of it. He's P5 right now, but he's ahead of Joshua Grosso, who was ahead of him before the pit stop. And even look at that, a 49.6. I'm not sure where Jacob Simmons gained. Oh, Jacob's the J cut. Connotations when someone says that word. Cooper McCoy on Brian Zaborski Jr., who's just ahead in P11. And it looks like he's basically kissing that rear. There is no margin here that he gave him. And he must trust the netcode, because that was so close. Dylan Maroney and Jeff. Okay. Jeff Koffold is in 7th, just ahead in that Valhalla livery at Dylan Maroney, who was really trying to add a little bit of pressure for Jeff as he was trying to possibly make a move. But not just yet. Tyler Anderson did a 45.9. So it's actually, it'd be 4 seconds difference, or more or less 4 seconds. Keeps him 2.6 seconds ahead, and Tyler Anderson's going to definitely try to win this by the most margins, or I guess the most limited margin possible with fuel. And it looks like there's no inroads just yet from Peter Flanner or Christopher Daniel on that. Brandon Burns has a bit of a spin here. Oof, yeah, he went over the curb. Over the curbing and lost out there. And held his brakes. So now got to wait for the conga line. He's backing it up. Making sure he's safe. Oh no, he's doing like a 6-point turn here. Almost lost that wing. It would have been our second victim that we know of that might have lost a wing. Doesn't become another poster child for the Broken Wing Racing League, but could have. And that's what you got to worry about. Andrew Gorsecki has Craig Carroll in his sights, and he's going to be looking to pass him on the straightaway, and it looks like he does momentarily. And nope, goes through. And this is the second little bus stop, so he's going to go by. Trevor Bonesteel might make a move here on Alex Zahir. pull this over to our other driver, Richard Severo. Got Daniel Barrett just ahead of him. Extremely impressive if you think about this. Dylan Maroney in P8, Daniel Barrett in P9, and Richard Severo in P10. All three drivers have gained or lost positions, have held their own where they're at, with no change in the order, which is mighty impressive, all things considered. Trey Mistack has Stephen Poe in his sights. And make no mistake, those blue accents on Stephen Poe, this is his first race in this in the GT3 Sprint Championship, and he is showing that he more than likely will be a pro class driver, at the minimum Pro-Am. But his times in qualifying or in practice were that of a pro qualifier. He did a 355 or 356, I believe, and I'm talking lows. He was in the top 7. He was 6th in practice. Qualifying, it's a different beast. Did not qualify well, but has passed 10 people. Trey has passed 20. Is Steven going to be an obstacle? Stevens, an S on that, so I had to pluralize that. Sorry, whoever named you. Jason's? My name is Jason? Something, you know. S really confuses me. Am I supposed to pluralize it? Steven. That makes sense. Anyway, Stevens Poe is sorry. Losing my train of thought here. Trey Mistack. Is this going to be a contender that Trey is not going to be able to just walk on by? I mean, he's making the move here, the McLaren versus the Acura, and they're both going side by side on the first straight. He could always fight back on that second straight. Second part of this long straight after this. The first Ralentisseur. It's a French word for we name things terribly, because there's the first one and the second one. And I think the move is finally down here as he's gotten fully ahead of him, and Stevens is going to slot back in. Looks to peek that corner, but doesn't do it. The only major difference we can say is if you look at the timing boards there, the last lap was 0.8 faster for Trey Mistack on that lap, so there is a little bit of a difference in pace, but it's 0.8. It's a good enough margin to break away momentarily. See that 0.3 drop back a little bit, but it's got a lot of draft right now. Going over to our leaders up here. Popping, let's see. Tyler Anderson's 4.4 seconds up. The thought was maybe he was going to have to lift and coast that I was thinking about and try to fuel save, but he was 2.7 seconds back when Peter Flanner exited the pits, and now it's a 4.4. It's not looking positive for those drivers that were battling him, and it looks like he might win if his fuel conservation is correct. He did go one extra lap longer. Eric Koonsman, Draft Punk Bronze, got Craig Carroll, Caffeine Global Motorsports, just right there in sights, and they go through the S's, and it looks like Eric Koonsman's going to be able to get by. The AM class champ from last... Oh, shoot. And both of them go by. Oof. Oh, that was close. Hey! Andrew Gorstecki. Broken Wing Racer. And he might be out of it, folks. Christopher Daniel lost 2. Huh. I don't remember that being that way. But Christopher Daniel's down next to Joshua Grosso. I don't know when he lost that. That is bizarre. I must be misremembering things. Battle for P2 is still on. 3 laps to go. Elliot Burton is leading this little pack in the Draft Punt Gold, followed by Jacob Simmons, Christopher Daniel, and Joshua Grosso. So far, I mean, on track, I don't think any of these drivers passed each other. If Christopher Daniel lost position, it was in the pits? That was a bit confusing. I think I remember that. Oh, Tyler Anderson is in 14th position behind Stevens Poe and Trey Mistak. What in the world happened? Here, folks. I have no idea what happened. Tyler Anderson on lap 11. Oh, look at him. He went back into the pits. And he did a 36.4. He did not have enough fuel. Or maybe I kind of want to hold on this. Yeah. Fuel. A little bit of fuel. Tyler Anderson, who was... It looks like while I was reviewing, Christopher Daniel loses another position. Joshua Grosso goes up 1. We'll take a look here. What exactly happened? Well, chicanes to go through. Ooh! You get a rough exit there. Looks like you get a tire in the sand there, and that's how Joshua Grosso got by. Move done and dusted. Tyler Anderson gets Stephen Poe. Looks like he had a little unsettled rear on the exit of the S's there, and he gets by. Jason Daly in 41st here. Oof. And that's Scott Webber that got by. Two laps to go. I think Jacob Simmons maybe might want to hold off till the last lap to make a move. Who knows what his strategy is? Elliot Burton's very consistent. And he's lost out a little bit of time there. Oscar Grasso might make a move here. And he unable to at the moment. Richard Severa, P10. It's kind of odd. It's got Cooper McCoy ahead. Oh, yeah. So he would have been up one position, but Cooper McCoy made a move on Richard Severa at some point. Look at all that debris. Where is that coming from? Who is that coming from? That is something else. Ryan Zaborski Jr. has Trey Mistak going alongside him. Probably going to get by here. I'm certain, yeah. And he does slot back in. It's 23 positions gained, and that goes for Trey Mistak into P11. And 2.2 seconds to Richard Severa. Still holding the AM class win, more than likely, if he is able to finish his last two laps. Cooper McCoy ahead. Daniel Barrett is of a Pro-Am, so the battle for the Pro-Ams is still on. It's definitely not over. If Cooper McCoy can reach Daniel Barrett. Ooh! Yikes. McCoy loses that position. He's probably going to concede two more here. His tires will definitely be a no bueno. Maybe it's all good. And his fighting, it looks like he might be trying to fight back here on Trey Mistak. As we go into the final lap. And we'll go back over to our P1 through 5. As Joshua Grosso has set the fastest lap overall. Yeah. Yes. That is a true purple. 3:55.3. They were not even able to get to those in qualifying. In practice they did. This which goes to show you what low fuel can do towards the end of a race. As Christopher Daniel goes alongside Joshua Grasso. And gets by. Joshua Grasso going to be able to fight back. Go on board. Look at the difference in straight line speed. That is kind of said and done there. If I'm mistaken, Grasso is a Pro-Am driver. and the move is down there. Jacob Simmons trying to make it happen for P2, and it would have looked like Joshua Grosso was going to win, but I keep forgetting Elliot Burton is not in the pro class. I mean, he should be, but sitting at P2 at the moment. He's going to win in the Pro-Ams as long as this does not end badly with this much time left to go. I almost feel like I'm cursing this section. I don't even want to say anything. I just wanted to get to the finish line. But we've seen Joshua Grosso inherit wins before. The overall win, I think it was the first time the Pro-Am class driver has won a race over the pros, was when Joshua Grosso made it happen. And it is not over until we get through the last set of corners. We're in the S's. Peter Flanner is going to be able to take home that win, the Pro-Ams. It's a mistake by Tyler Anderson on fuel, or maybe it wasn't a mistake. Who knows? Maybe he thought he could do it, and it looks to be over. Peter Flanner is going to win this race for the pro class and overall standings here as Elliot Burton goes to the line and is going to get by Jacob Simmons for P2. In P3 is Jacob Simmons, Elliot Burton in second, Christopher Daniel in fourth, Joshua Grosso in fifth, Jeff Koffel leading over Dylan Maroney, and they're going to go to the line. Still could be dicey. And look at that exit, and it might be different. I think Dylan Maroney just got it on the line, and he did. He goes to 6 over Jeff Koppel, Daniel Barrett in 8, Richard Sever in 9, Trey Misek in 10, Cooper McCoy in 11, Kyle Anderson in 12, Brian Zaborski Jr. in 13, Chris Moulton in 14, Trevor Bonesteel in 16, Alex Zahir in 17, Steven Spo in 18, Marshall Scary in 19, Eric Koonsman in 20, Craig Carroll in 21, Adam Tingle 22, almost. Got Forrest Holland right behind him. It could still end differently. We did see it end differently, but it doesn't there. Forrest Holland is going to take 23, Rodrigo Theory's 24, Miles Brown in 25, no one really around him there, but just behind is John Javecki. Great recovery race for him, who went all the way to the back and has a new wing to his boot and goes over on Chris Chitterling, P26 and 27 for Chris. J.R. Hoops in 28, Michael Othen in 29, Sandro Churlis in 30, Michael Sharon in 31, Jeff Lubitsch kind of got his own race here. He's in 32, Tyler Kern in take 33, Noah Porter in 34, and then further back Tom Smith's got his own little race as well, 35, Scott Weber still further back, got him 1.5 to Dave Palmer, 35 for him and 37 for Dave Palmer here. David Gauntlet just behind in 38, unless something changes before the final couple corners. That's it. And Tugboat Thomas, thank you for the follow. And it looks like it's going to shape up in hand for these drivers as they cross the line. And it is going to be all said and done. Jason Daly also in his own race as it is. A couple corners to go. And 39, Steve McAllister, and 40. Steve McAllister further back. Dean Diltz, 41. Brandon Burns, 42. Blake Patterson, 43. Andrew Korsecki, 44. And Charles Whedon, 45. That said, Peter Flanner, congratulations on that win. It must have felt pretty nice when you saw Tyler Anderson go in the pits that second time. Did you know that that it was an underfuel situation, or were you kind of surprised he went with that first pit stop of a 45.1?
We all in the chat kind of guessed that he underfueled because he came out so far in front, and then he redid his math and realized he had underfueled by a lap. So I knew that he was going back in the pits like halfway through his outlap. So I wasn't really stressing out by that point. Um, yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, it did look kind of daunting at one point. He was 4.7 seconds ahead of you. He was. It started out to be 2.7 when he got out of the pit. So I was like, oh, maybe he's going to try to save some fuel and lift and coast, but and maybe you'll start to reel him in towards the end. But he built a more of a gap. Like he was really going for it. I think he realized at some point he had to try to go a little bit quicker to get better lap times in to maybe stem that pit stop that he had to do again. It was unfortunate for
Yeah.
him, but you reaped it in. You had a great battle. I mean, it must have been stressful for I guess the first until you guys went to the pits. Everyone was so close to you. I mean, I'm not sure if you're familiar with drivers being that close for that long, because usually there's times where I see you at the in P1 and you're just well ahead by a good comfortable margin, couple seconds maybe. But the fact that everyone was literally 2/10 off of each other the entire point of that those 5 laps, that must have been a little stressful, considering it was not only second and third next to you, but fourth and fifth were right there, and that group of you were really really close on pace.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it goes at Le Mans because the draft is so powerful. So it's actually a disadvantage to be in the lead there because everybody behind me gets to save more fuel. Um, and so I was just trying to save as much fuel as I could so I wouldn't get jumped in the pits. Um, and Tyler probably would have jumped me in the pits had he not made that mistake. So I'm just lucky that that happened.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of those things where you definitely say, well, we take those. It's kind of nice, but I didn't see him going to the pits. I was trying to decipher it, and then I finally was able to look back and find that he did go into the pits. And unfortunate for his race, it would have been really well in hand. But congratulations on that P1. That's definitely going to shoot you further up in the bracket there, as in the driver standings. So can't wait to see what that looks like after the all the numbers are crunched and Andrew Korsacki gets that into the form as or the little log as we have it there. Congratulations on that win. It was fantastic to see you guys all just that close. I mean, I think for the first 2 laps, P1 through P18 did not overtake anybody. It was that's how I guess not only respectable, but like how clean and how well you guys are doing in hand, just kind of staying in position a little bit and seeing what plays out. But I mean, 1 through 18, nobody gained positions until there was an John Chavecki went out. He was in fifth or sixth, I think, at the time, and he went into a wall, and that's when it all started to change.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes at Le Mans when it's kind of like a draft train, and everybody's just like waiting until the later laps to try and make their moves.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there one specific car that you could see over any others that was better on the straight line?
The McLaren for sure. Like every time Tyler was behind me, he was gaining on me like crazy.
Yeah, I think the I guess maybe the net negative one would be the Porsche. It seemed like it wasn't doing that well in the straight lines.
Yeah, well, because of the balance of the Porsche, you can't run as low wing on it. Otherwise, it's just treacherous through the Porsche curves, ironically. Um, and so then you can't have as high of a top speed.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I think that's where Joshua Grosso got swallowed up a little bit by Christopher Daniel there at the end. It was the last second to last lap or the last lap that happened. So unfortunate to see that happen, but again, congratulations on your win. Hope to see you again in the next one where we can have another conversation.
Yeah, I hope to talk to you again, Jason.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, bye.
Elliot Burton, congratulations, man! Another win for the Pro Am class. P2 in the overall standings. That's got to feel pretty great. You had Jacob Simmons battling you out there on that last lap. Was it very stressful because it looked like he made his move? The move didn't stick. You were able to keep it ahead, but were you really What were you really feeling there towards the end?
Yeah, no, it was a good move. He just couldn't get it done going around the corner. Yeah, it was a lot of pressure. Jake was really quick. I think he was way better on the brakes, so I just had to be really careful to get a better exit because I think I had better exits than he did. So it was a tough battle the whole way. Um, he got unfortunate with a couple of slowdowns, but um, yeah, no, happy about the win.
Happy for your result as well. I mean, it's just another race where things have worked out fairly well in hand. And at one point, I was talking and saying, I shouldn't speak at all because if I speak, it may not, come to fruition. So I just kind of held my own tongue there and just said, "We'll wait for these results and make sure it all gets to the end." And you got there in the end, and it was pretty close. It looked like he was going to try to go down. I mean, it's very difficult to do, but once you get out of that last corner there on the straight, can you get by if you have a good enough exit? Jacob Simmons wasn't able to do that, but that actually did happen. There was another driver who got the overtake done on the line, which is impressive to see. I don't think he had that much stress on probably at that point.
Yeah, no, it was a really tough race. The track temps were pretty high, so the setups that I had were a little bit too loose. So I spent most of the practice time uh, softening everything up and trying to make it so I wasn't gonna lose the rear end. And I almost lost the rear end in the Porsche curves a couple times. So that was yeah, that was it was a tough race.
Absolutely, it was a tough race and it was hard fought. You did pretty well there. You had the Pax Oceani guys in that mix as well. You had Joshua Grosso that was in that mix. Tyler Anderson, getting such a huge margin on that pit stop, having gone long. Almost everyone else stopped. I think everybody stopped on that one lap, and everyone was just gonna take it as is. Were you surprised to see him go back into the pits, or did you kind of calculate, like Peter was saying in his chat, that they thought he underfueled? Did you also have that kind of reaction?
Yeah, um, based on, I was really surprised to see him go another lap. I didn't realize he'd fuel save that much. I was saving a little bit, but he fuel saved quite a bit. Uh, but when he came out of the pits like 3 seconds ahead, I figured he had probably done underfuel by about a lap, and that's what it ended up being, which is unfortunate because it was really it was a tight battle up there. So I was sad to see him taken out of that.
Yeah, it was a really tight battle, and it's great that you guys have these you have the thoughts to be able to like think about that as well as your race as well. It's fantastic overall. I mean, you ended up doing really well. I mean, I think it was kind of surprising to me, from P1 to P18 for the first two laps, no one moved positions, which is kind of a little surprising because in the back of the past that P19 onward, it was not like a melee, but there's people going ahead, couple positions there. It was
Yeah.
a lot more of a struggle because almost I would say a third of the grid did not set times on the board. So was that a concern in qualifying for you? I know you got one on the board quick, pretty early on, but everyone
Yeah.
else, yeah.
I took it really easy in qualifying, and then I had a mega lap at the end that probably would have been close to pole. And then I'd taken off track because I was just pushing. But the thing about Le Mans is that if you go down and you battle someone, try to fight for position, you lose so much momentum, and the gap to the next, you just create a huge gap to the next pack of cars. So it's usually people will try and stay in line unless there's something really easy to fight for, easy to take a position.
Hmm.
So I think that's usually what happens up front. In the back, I think it can be chaos sometimes because everyone's just trying to work their way up and climb the ladder of cars. But I think up at the front, it's tough to make a move without losing time to the cars ahead.
Absolutely. It showed in this race. Again, congratulations, Elliot. P2 in the overall and P1 in the pro-ams. Can't wait to see you sport the orange again after the season's over. As well as you missed that last race, so that actually put you back a
Yes.
little bit into fourth. So hopefully this race we get to see what that looks like once they update the standings there. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
missed it to get rained out at the Daytona 500. That was
yeah, it was pretty rough, especially with what that ended up being like. But again, thanks for joining me. Congratulations, and can't wait to see you on that next race.
appreciate it. Have a good one.
Mhm. And with that said, thank you everybody. That is the overall race there for the round 8. Richard Severa, who finished in ninth, congratulations to that driver. He held his own throughout the entire race, stayed in the same position since when he qualified, and even gained one position at the end there. Fantastic result for that driver in the AM class. No doubt he is dominating right now in the AM class championship, and we might see a promotion out of that driver to the pro-ams after the season's over. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and I think this is the week on this Tuesday we are going to have the final round of the Le Mans series for this first season, and then the Xfinity series is on Wednesdays. So catch us at Martinsville. We're not going to be streaming that one, but it's more of a fun one. Join us for that one. Xfinity series is mostly trying to do tracks everyone has already. And then V's versus Rays on Thursdays. That's hosted, and that's a multi-class event as well, and that is pretty fun. All these start around 9 p.m. Eastern, 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and have a good evening.